How are you, Leo?
Hi, Dennis. How are you?
I'm good.
I am
So,
just
so,
fine.
so what time is it in New York right now?
Right now it is 1:40 in the morning.
I feel bad.
So
I
just
feel
bear
bad.
with me as I come in and I share my screen with you.
Yeah, while you share your screen. So, Leo, you're the Executive Vice President Research at PQMedia. Could
Correct.
you spend the first 30 seconds explaining what PQMedia is? Because I've known you forever. I've been in this industry for 15 years, and I've always known PQMedia. So you guys have been around for a long time now.
PQMedia is a media consulting firm. We do custom research, which are two parts. We put out syndicated reports such as the Digital Out of Home, which we'll be putting out probably in February of next year. And we work with media companies, financial investors, technology companies with their strategic intelligence. For example, we're doing a report with a consulting firm right now on direct mail and coupons. So we just don't concentrate on the digital out of home and out of home industries. Can you see my screen?
No, we cannot.
Can you see my
No, you haven't shared your screen yet. You haven't shared your screen yet, Leo.
I'm trying to do that.
Yeah, just
Okay.
FYI, if you have any problem, we have it ready as well on our side. We have it ready.
It's not allowing me to hit share right now. Oh,
Okay.
there we go.
Perfect. Let's see.
Perfect. There we go.
So yes, perfect.
Can you
Perfect.
see it?
So, yeah, it's perfect. I'm gonna leave the stage to you now.
Perfect.
And we talk in 10 minutes. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you very, very much, Dennis, for the fine introduction and everything. And because we are on a tight schedule, I'm going to be talking a little bit quicker than I normally speak because I've been at numerous out-of-home conferences in the past and sometimes speak as long as an hour because of the depth and breadth of the information that we have. I reached out to Quividi when I saw that the conference was occurring because I've known Oliver Duchel for probably 15 years, and he knows all about the reports that we're putting out. And so I said, let us give you a little bit of a preview of the report we're putting out in February, which, as if you can see on the screen, is our 12th edition. When we started publishing the digital out of home back in 2006 and made it the out of home by 2010, although I've been following the out of home industry for almost 30 years now, both historically and doing forecast and trends analysis. So just to give you an idea of how we look at it, we're a little bit different than some companies and some of the data that you might be seeing on from other providers like Magna Global or Zenith or others, is we have more depth and look at more categories and channels than anyone else does. The traditional out of home, as you can see on the left side of the screen, is what you're used to from decades and decades and decades of out of home, from the days that P.T. Barnum started doing that back in the 1800s when circuses came to the town. And digital out of home, we started covering that, as I said, in 2006 and put out the first report ever on that. With digital billboards, digital place-based ad nets, and something that a lot of people don't follow is the ambient, which includes advertising on objects and unique placements in retail malls, sand advertising, et cetera, et cetera. So our data is usually a little bit larger than what you might see from others when we talk about the out-of-home industry. And to give that a perspective, globally, the out-of-home industry, and we cover every single ad medium and marketing medium that you see listed in those pie charts. It's $1.28 trillion advertising and marketing industry globally, and out-of-home, unfortunately, is only 4.1% because it's not that big in the U.S. and some of the other North American and some European markets, whereas it's ranking fifth in APAC, which is about a $285 billion industry when you include advertising and all the marketing services, and no one else that we're aware of covers things like content marketing, experiential marketing, and product placement. and it's 8.8% led by companies like Focus Media in China. So the way we're going to look at this for today is what happened this year, what do we think is going to happen next year? And the first thing we noticed way back when in January and February is that chief marketing officers were in chaos and crisis and confusion and uncertainty, as the arrows show there. And they really didn't know what to do. What they did know from the 2008 and 2009 recessions was that if you stop advertising and marketing, you lose market share. So even those companies like auto and airlines and hospitality that were decimated by the coronavirus, they continue to advertise and market as much as they possibly can, but they have to be very creative. And they looked at out-of-home back in 1H, first half of 2020, and they saw that nobody was out. Traffic had just about died, 70% drop from what it had been just a month earlier. Now, luckily, that's one of the good stories is that as we talk about 2021, people are going back on the road, even with some of these spikes, as they now have a better understanding of what coronavirus is. But it's still not at the levels that it was pre-COVID-19 because there's still a lot of people working from home, kids still going to school at home rather than going to school, et cetera, that we know the traffic is still down, but it's still one of the positive notes, one of the few that happened in 2020 that it was returning. Another thing that affected the out-of-home industry is that retail was already struggling before COVID-19, where we saw more stores being bankrupt, particularly here in the US, in the 2017-19 period that we saw during the 2008-2009 Great Recession, but it's going to double in 2020. And you add to that the gyms that can't open and the theaters that aren't opening. Something just came out within the last 3 days by companies like National Cinemedia and other cinema advertisers that they are down 80 to 90% first half of 2020 in revenues compared to first half of 2019. And so that hurts the out-of-home industry as cinema is considered a digital place-based ad network as well. And a third thing that has really hurt the out-of-home industry is that all the sporting events were canceled, or when they came back on, that nobody was at the stadiums to watch. But the Olympics are particular interest always to us because we always see a spike in the even years. We first saw that in 2012 at the Calgary Olympics because the Olympic Committee got into setting the CPM rates for the official sponsors who were the only ones allowed to advertise near the venues. And then in digital place-based ad networks, we saw that there were a lot of ad-supported updates of the results as people were going into bus stations and rail stations and train stations. So we saw a lot of that getting lost in 2020, some of which will come back in 2021, some of which might not come back, but other things besides the Olympics, such as the friendlies in soccer, cricket matches. Go to any part of the world, and you'll find some international or regional sporting event that was either canceled or postponed. So what does this all mean? Well, what we know, because we have data here in the United States, particularly, that goes all the way back to 1776, and by advertising medium back to 2022, is that advertising and marketing really get hurt when there is a recession. They actually start declining before the economy starts declining. We particularly look at out-of-home and radio and other media that CMOs start taking away some of the budgets when they're not sure of where the economy is going. And it definitely happened in 2020, as you can see from the 3 previous depressions that we have had globally in the US. Not one single of the 20 largest markets posted positive growth in 2020. In yellow there at the bottom, you'll see are the Asia Pacific countries. So they didn't get hurt as bad because they were able to control coronavirus better than other parts of the market. I mean, Taiwan is a poster child with only 7 deaths at this point of time. But overall, out of home did fall more than advertising. That's the green line. And advertising, overall advertising and marketing is the blue line. It was the 4th worst hit medium. Experiential marketing really took a hit in branded entertainment because nobody was having events anymore or trade shows anymore. Magazines and newspapers were already declining 7 to 10%, but when all their local advertisers and national advertisers were big, just stopped advertising. They got hit even again by more than a negative 10%. So out of home really got hurt hard by the coronavirus. And specific to some of the categories that we have, we know that billboards fell because there weren't cars. Nobody was in train stations. Downtowns were deserted. New York City was totally empty. Sporting events were postponed for digital billboards and digital place networks. People weren't going to corporate buildings, going to see their doctors, going to the gyms, going to theaters. And an ambient home delivery was the only bright spot because people were ordering and you could put advertising on the boxes. So based on this, what do we expect in 2021? Well, the first thing is we've been hearing a lot of positives. Magna Global today or yesterday came out with some new global, and they're being more bullish on 2021 as we are. So we do see a rebound in growth rates after the decline in 2020, but we won't return to the levels of revenue as we saw in 2019, which was a really great year, until 2022. And what will be driving that growth is digital as it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. 2020 was a bad year a little bit for digital, not just because people stopped advertising, but the supply chain got hit and it was difficult to, if you order digital billboards and screens and stuff, to take a while to get them. But we think some of that will go away in 2021. And that's why we're bullish about out of home and particularly digital out of home. And I thank you for inviting me, Dennis, here as I'll stop my share. And
thank you very much, Leo. Thank you very much.
If there are any questions that you have, please ask them now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we don't have time for Q&A. We are already running a bit late, but thank you very much for your time, Leo. Thank you for doing this. It's very late for you, so take care of yourself, and we're gonna move.
Thank you, Dennis.
We're gonna move to our next.